Le vamos a dar la bienvenida a Taco. Welcome, Taco, to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for your time.
Good to be on your show, Lataro. Hola,
Well,
everybody.
there is winter. Well, it's coming winter there. Here is we are waiting for the summer. I saw in the news that there is a lot of snow.
We're not used to it anymore, you know. It's everything is white. There's chaos, uh, and because it hasn't happened so often over here the last years, people are going totally crazy. They're going go
I
go
can
go
imagine
go.
that. I can imagine. Well, I was saying, that there's a lot of curiosities about your life, starting from the place where you born, because if we go to Google, they say that you born in Jakarta in Indonesia, and I want to know about that because then you go to Europe. So let's start with these great things.
Okay. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago. We go back to the year 1955,
Yeah.
and Jakarta, Indonesia, was still a part of the Dutch East India, the Dutch East Indies. So it was a colony. So I
Hmm.
was still born in the colonies, and a couple of years later, all the Dutch had the choice to either become Indonesian or leave the country. And so my parents left, and my whole family left, and that's when there was a huge exodus from
Hmm.
Indonesia to the Netherlands, and
But they were from Netherlands, your parents.
yes,
Okay.
but they were also born in Indonesia,
Oh, okay, okay.
and my family goes back hundreds of years. They came with the Dutch East India Company, 1600,
Wow.
blah blah blah, and well, you know it yourself. We were also a seafaring country, or still are.
Yeah.
And back then, we were conquistadores, and
Conquistadores, yes.
uh,
Conquerors, yeah.
so, so at some point we landed there, and from Holland our odyssey started. So I grew up in different places in the Netherlands, and 1964 my father wanted to go back to the Far East, and he started working for an American company. And then we moved to Singapore. That was, and from that day on, my father put my brother and myself on the international schools of America.
Yeah. And why music? Why music? Then we are going to talk about this smash hit that puts you on the Ritz. But I want to know the beginnings. Yeah.
Well, you have to understand, in the colonies, you had to entertain yourself.
Okay.
And so you had the Dutch club, the American club, the European club, and what people would do, they would organize, these big lavish motto parties. And my grandfather, for instance, he had the orchestra,
Uh
a
huh.
swing orchestra in Indonesia, and did a lot of and he was a professional pianist. And by the way, he also wore a tuxedo every day. That was his working suit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so everybody did something. My other grandfather played violin. My mother did ballet, and so they did all these little musicals.
Oh, so
And
nice. So nice.
so I grew up with a lot of music in the house. We had open house. My dad loved music. We had all the swing records playing at our home. Lots of party, and yeah, and then when I went to the American schools, I joined the choir every year.
Yeah.
That's why I picked up the American Songbook, and and then we started doing musicals. So my first big musical was You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Okay.
around 13. And so music has always been a part of my life. And in the last school year, we did the Fantastics, we did Anna Tefka, Fiddler on the Roof. And yeah, so
Well,
it came very natural.
it's a good point that the things that you say, because if we look, if you watch your videos, in the 80s and 90s, it's not only a song, it's like a theater scene, it's a performance, it's a performance. And I saw your social media. You're still doing that, with that energy, performance, singing, but with a performance, it's a style, it's so nice, so lovely too,
Thank you. Well, for me, everything is visual. When I write music, I always see it as a video.
Okay.
So when you're writing, like the last song, one of the last songs I wrote with my partner was "It's Snowing in My Heart."
Yeah.
And when you look at the video, I try to act out the story. Santa had an accident. Santa Claus is sick of the job. He wants to stay at home, and there he is in the stuck in the pampa, and he's going, "Please send some help my way." so, so it all goes into each other.
It's all a big movie,
Yeah.
I want to know about this great song, putting on the Ritz. I know that it's from other periods, but I want to know about the idea of making, that a new style, a new remix of this song.
Well, like I told you, when I came to Hamburg, I had graduated, and my father said, because I didn't know what to do. I really didn't know what to do. I was stuck in Germany. I didn't speak German. And then he said, "Why don't you go to acting school?" Most fathers say, "Get a good job,
Go away.
go away." My dad said, "No, go to acting school." And then from one thing came the other. So before I knew it, I was going to acting school in the daytime. Then I would go to the theater, and I started as an extra. And so every evening I would be on stage in another production.
Yeah.
And that's where I got to meet musicians. The musical director, he took me home to do my first demo tapes. At night, I would go in the rock clubs and work with the greatest musicians by just improvising. And just give me a blues in C, and I'd improvise.
Yeah.
So it was learning by doing, and then at one point, I just by chance, I had my first record contract, but I had to sing in German and
Schlager.
Schlager, and I didn't want to do Schlager.
Mein Gott.
So I went to the big boss and I said, "Listen, muchas gracias for this big chance. I am not going to sing German all my life. I
Vielen
am,
Dank, vielen Dank.
yeah." And so we ripped it up, and then I had a problem for the first time in my life, a real problem. What am I going to do now? And then at that moment, I mean, we're talking now 1980, 81. The Neue Deutsche Welle was just starting. The avant-garde music, the
Yeah.
electronic music was starting from coming from England to Germany also, and I said, "Wow!" I had done Chicago in the theater, and I said, "Well, what if I take the American songbook, mix that up with the electronic music, the new wave music that was popular and
Yeah.
starting? It could work." And there was the image, the guy in the tuxedo with the greased back hair. and nobody will recognize me. That's how naive I thought. And then I went shopping. I went from that's how I met David Parker, my producer, and then he went shopping with the project, and nobody was interested. So then at a one point
Yeah.
back in the record days, the companies would do one thing. They would buy all these different artists from a label,
Hmm.
and and the labels would make a deal with the record company. They would
Okay.
say, okay, if you take this and this and this and this artist, you have to take him too, okay? And that's how I got into it.
The destiny.
Yeah. And then I started, yeah, doing my own things. I made a big deal with a youth department store,
Yeah.
and I had to carry me in like a puppet. Yeah, and when enough people were in front of the window on the street, I
Yeah.
was turn on the tape. Okay. And I go, "Tur, tur, 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 tur." I'd be like a puppet. And, and then I do my putting on the Ritz because that's all I had. And after that, I would do an autograph hour, and that was it.
Wow.
That flopped. Nobody was interested after that either.
Well, when I listened to the song, it was strange, because at first it was okay. What is this? It's a song from the 30s, but with synthesizers, and then a few seconds it's like putting on the Ritz. It's like okay, it's catchy, and then there is. Yeah, but I can understand maybe why the first impression, because it's not a typical song from the 80s. It's a strange song. It's a strange mix. Unique. Because it was not easy. But now, we're talking more than 40 years. Is there? The last month I shared a video of putting on the Ritz on TikTok.
Yeah.
And the people is a lot of comments, a lot of opinions. They wrote, oh, I love this song from Brazil, for example, Russia, of course, that kind of part of Europe. Is there, it's still there. Your song is there. I feel that I feel like maybe you are so proud of that, so proud.
Well, I am just amazed, and it's awesome that after all these years, that it's still going on and on and on. And yeah, it's been a long history of jet lag. After one country, the next country came, and then when I thought it was over, another country got interested. And now in the digital world, and now with my new company who digitalizes all my work
Yeah.
on my YouTube channel, now it's reaching out to young people, of course, because they hear the good quality, and they're going, "Oh my God, when did I miss that?" And I go, "Well, you weren't born."
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz.
But what was your first impression, when you record that song?
Well, it was crazy. It was fun. It was theater. For me, it was all theatrics. Coming from the teatro,
Yeah.
it came very natural, and I liked the whole image thing. It was fun to perform,
Yeah.
and for me, it was just a motor to get away from the Schlager. I would have done anything to get away from Schlager.
I have a few songs here on Spotify because I like it, Running for Love, Venice and Moonlight, Is It Love, Headwright City, You're my answer to it all. Not only Boots on the Ritz, because I listen to a few albums that you have on Spotify. You have great songs.
Well, it's a heartbreak city. The girls are hot, hot, cute kitties. To be your lover, baby, run for cover. I've got so much love inside. Super physical resurrection. Frozen back 1984. Love tonight. It's a game that I cannot win.
Everything came very natural. After Ritz flopped,
Yeah.
when it came out, I first went into the fashion industry with my father. We opened a boutique in Hamburg, and because I said, okay, this is it. If they don't accept this,
Yeah.
I might as well, do something else.
Yes.
And what helped then, a couple of months later, was Sweden. In Sweden, I was invited weeks later, and they said, "Can you come over to do some promotion?" And I go, "Okay." And for me, Ritz was over.
Yeah.
And then I come to Stockholm, and oh my God, it was like I went to the discotheque at night. At the airport, there was a Rolls Royce waiting for me, and I go,
Wow.
"Oh, what's going on here?" And in the discotheque at that time, the boys were all in evening, smokings, tuxedo. The girls in beautiful dresses, all dressed up like in the 20s and 30s. I go,
Wow.
okay. And when I left to go back home,
Yes.
I heard from the company, we have a little problem. I go, what's wrong? I go, your LP in Sweden has gold status.
Oh, wow.
And I go, wow, great, but I don't have an LP. I just had a 45. And then it really started. Then it started. From that day on, I was in the studio every single day, trying to get that whole concept of After Eight together. And yeah, so, and then I was, just on the road, going through
Yeah.
all Scandinavia. Then Germany noticed, oh my God, the song has potential. And then they started putting all the promoters to work.
But I want to know, if you could go back in time, would you change something of your career or your life?
Oh, because I never had a plan.
Yeah.
A lot of lucky people who have a plan, they know exactly,
Yeah.
they know already at school, I want to do this, I want to do that.
Yeah.
People like that. But I wasn't like that. I was always like, oh, what am I going to do now?
Go away, do something,
Yeah. And so I'm like, people have to put my nose like a dog, into something and say, and then I go, yeah, that's fun. I like that.
Where fashion sits, putting on the Ritz, putting on the Ritz.
But well,
Yeah.
you're like official retired, but you're still doing things. I saw in your social media, you're still singing.
Yes. I'm making videos. I'm writing songs. I found a new musical partner, Tim Elmers, and we've written a couple. We've written last year. We wrote Hot Summer Jams,
Yeah.
then Snowing in My Heart, and currently we're working on another project for next year.
So cool.
And there's a new video planned by the end of the year.
Okay.
And in my free time, I just got together with a fantastic big band where I'll be doing Sinatra songs.
Wow.
So it's everything from pop to big band music. So
Well,
I keep
nice,
busy.
nice. All this because you are retired. Yeah, yeah. Um, the last one. I don't. Maybe this is a good opportunity if you want to send a message to all your fans, around the world. The time is yours.
Uh, well, listen, this year we celebrate my 40th anniversary of After Eight and Putting on the Ritz. And I am so proud that I have a growing audience, so many new kids that are hanging in there and who really enjoy the music. And all I can say is a big muchas gracias. Go to my YouTube channel and yeah, just look into the history of, or my little history of music. And if you want to talk to me personally, go to Facebook. And there's always ways to connect with each other. And
Nice.
music connects, it
Of
makes
course.
our whole little world a village.
Of
I
course.
love you all.
Of course. Of course, yes. Thank you very much, Taco. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. It was so nice. How I say it in the beginning, you are like a funny person, with all the energy, energizes, I like it. I like it. Con mucha energía. Me gusta, me gusta.
Anarchia. Can I take out the battery now?
But I wish you the best. We are finished 2023. I hope that you start a good new year. I cross fingers for that. And thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you so much, and have a wonderful new year. First of all, Merry Christmas, everybody, and yeah, we'll talk next year.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, adios, amigo.
Adios, hombres.
Come, let's mix where Rockefellers walk Western store umbrellas in the mix.
Putting on the Ritz.